Life begins at conception? Fine. I'm still pro-choice because I believe that you should be allowed to murder your own kids. This is your kid. Who am I to tell you what to do with something that you made? If I make a kid, it's mine. I made him. I invented him out of thin air and a lack of ambition. That is my kid. Without me, he doesn't exist at all. So he shouldn't be mad at me. He should be thanking me that he got the 8 years that he got, or however much time I decide is appropriate.
I love that clip. I don't even know if that comedian is like a good one or a bad one. Like maybe he was going to a really dark place with that I would be like, ooh, no, that was a bit too far. But I feel like that kind of encapsulates the whole Christian God can genocide us because he created us, so he has the right to do that sort of thing.
It's his right to kill his kids.
Like that's kind of what I feel. Like anyway, banning abortion was front and center at Christian Nationals Conference addressed by Speaker Mike Moses Johnson. And yeah, so that's a priest in the Catholic Church who, you know, just statistically speaking, probably also a pedophile. I'm just gonna say allegedly there for legal purposes.
Like just in case, probably is. Maybe.
Priest in the Catholic Church that looks like that, probably a pedophile. But I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing. Anyway, that's Frank Pavone. Frank Pavone? I don't know. He's an anti-abortion hardliner who was actually kicked out of the priesthood by Pope Francis this year. He says that banning abortion was front and center throughout the day during a recent meeting of the National Association of Christian Lawmakers, the gathering which Speaker of the House Mike Johnson declared that God had prepared him to be a Moses leading America in the Red Sea moment. I'm not sure if we covered that in detail, but Mike Johnson thinks he's Moses. He thinks he's the modern-day Moses. To which I say, fine, go in the speaker thing, cast your gavel down, and have it turned into a snake. And when you do that, then maybe we'll take you fucking seriously.
You can be the modern day Moses when you strike a rock and water flows out of it. And everybody gets to drink from your rock water.
I want to drink from Mike Johnson's stones. That's what Cyrus just said, not me.
I
was
said
just paraphrasing
rock
Cyrus.
water.
Yep, stones, what? Stone, rock, same thing. You want to drink from Mike Johnson's stones.
It sounds like you said you want to drink from Mike Johnson's stones.
I've heard that zinc supplements make you come bigger.
I've also heard they help with colds, but I've never heard anything about coming bigger.
Well, apparently someone on Threads posted glop glop glop, and then people were like, oh, glop is when lots of guys come on you. And then she was like, oh, that's kind of gross. I didn't know that. I just thought glop was a funny word. And then other people were like, take your zinc supplements, boys.
I take zinc when I feel like I'm going to have a cold. I don't think I want to take it to come better. For science, I'm going to have to see if it creates a larger load capacity.
I mean, edging does that too.
Yeah.
Maybe zinc plus edging.
I'm impatient, though. I'm kidding.
You're a bad lover, Cyrus. That's what we've noticed here.
I will not comment further.
So anyway, as voters across the country reject MAGA Republicans' abortion bans and the GOP strategists fear the issue will hurt their electoral prospects in 2024, Johnson has publicly downplayed the priority of a national abortion ban for congressional Republicans. But as Pavone's report makes clear, abolishing abortion is still a priority for the religious right movement from which Johnson emerged. I'm drinking scotch tonight, so that means I'm more sloshed than normal. So my words are coming out a bit more slurred.
You're also just talking about Mike Johnson, though, so it's okay for you to. It's okay.
I am
for
talking
you to
about your
Johnson.
Johnson. I am talking about your
Not
Johnson.
my Johnson, Mike Johnson, not my Mike's Johnson, but Mike Johnson.
The Kent Hovind School for Kids Who Can't God Good says men should have about 11 milligrams daily just for normal load production. I don't know. I don't take zinc supplements, and I've never noticed a problem with my load size. In fact,
okay.
to my
I
understanding,
I see.
to my understanding, the receiver of the load would generally prefer it to be smaller rather than bigger.
Hmm.
So like,
Okay.
because it's not like it's yummy. The
I
porn,
hear if you
the
eat
porn
pineapple,
stars,
you can fix that.
the porn stars are lying. They're acting. That's what they're doing. And like realistically, if someone in real life is acting like it tastes good, it's because they care about how you perceive that moment. They are trying to give you more pleasure by acting like it tastes good, because it doesn't actually taste good, even if you eat pineapple. It's salty snot. Like, come on. There's nothing good
Come on,
about
where?
that.
Come on, where?
The eyeballs.
No, that just burns.
It does, but when it happens in porn movies, they laugh.
It gets on the look. Okay, so there was a porn I watched ages ago, and it was
Shit.
was the first time.
I pulled the skin off when I ripped on it.
Not that one. It was the first time I ever heard glasses called cum shields.
I mean, fair. Glasses are also sexy, so why not? Anyway, we're talking about Johnson. He's not got a good name for this conversation.
Nope.
Johnson helped draft and defend successive Louisiana laws aimed at tightly regulating abortion providers, helping make abortion increasingly inaccessible in the state, even as the procedure remained technically legal. So Johnson is very much anti-abortion. He's pushing for anti-abortion legislation. He would be happy with a national abortion ban, despite the whole states' rights thing that they said, like, oh, no, it doesn't matter that the Supreme Court says it's going to be decided at the state level. It's not going to be, it's not going to be a national thing. But no, now that the Supreme Court has thrown it back to the states, they're all like, oh, let's try national now.
Well, yeah, because the entire thing is give an inch, take a mile. They got a little bit of headway. Now they're going to try to push it everywhere they can.
But also, apparently, Johnson, when the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, he celebrated by tweeting out a thing that ended with perform an abortion and get imprisoned at hard labor for 1 to 10 years and fined $10,000 to $100,000. So, like, he's celebrating the punishment of people providing abortions.
So he wants there to be fewer doctors available in the United States for people who need them.
Yeah, so I looked into it. The red states are losing doctors, like Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Idaho. They're all losing doctors, obstetricians in particular, because they're the ones who deal with pregnancy. And so, like, is this what you want? And this, like, I know you guys have that whole states' rights thing, but, like, just make fucking healthcare a federal right for everybody and have fully staffed hospitals everywhere. Like, because that's the thing. A lot of obstetrics wards are shutting down in rural areas, even in blue states, because it's not profitable, because they have to have staff on 24/7 in case that one pregnant woman shows up, because obstetrics is expensive. But if you socialize that shit, it's paid for by the government. So, like, yeah, we probably aren't going to have someone show up at midnight on a Tuesday night, like, in labor. But sometimes that happens. And when that person goes into labor at midnight on a Tuesday night, they need a doctor. Because in these places where they don't have obstetrics wards, they have, like, twice the rate of maternal mortality, or 3 times the rate of fetal mortality, or baby mortality, I guess.
What was that one argument that conservatives like to use all the time, where they would say that it's modern day slavery if you force a doctor to perform an abortion? And
no, the doctors are leaving the states where they're not allowed to perform abortions, because it's like,
yeah,
oh, if I provide my patient with health care, I might go to jail. I don't think I want to work in a state that's going to do that.
Jack Harper, I understand you've got one brain cell. You don't have to announce it to the class. Anyways.
What's Jack Harper saying?
My tax return is more important than universal health care. No, you're just a moron.
So So
I'm done entertaining
Jack,
the words
Jack,
you say.
I am Canadian. I have socialized healthcare. If I go to the doctor, it's fucking free. I get to look on my taxes. They have it itemized so I can see how much of my money goes to healthcare. I have never paid more than $700 per year for my entire family to have healthcare. The average American, if they have a family, pays like $1,200 a month. I forget the exact number, but it's some ridiculous number like that. Like per month, they pay more than I do per year for healthcare. So fuck off with this socialized medicine is more expensive. Like, no, insurance companies is still socialized medicine. It's still the group paying for the individual's healthcare. It's just now in the hands of companies that their whole thing is I want to turn a profit. So they have to charge more in order to turn that profit. Whereas if you make it government controlled, the profit motive is gone. So it's just fucking healthcare. So I pay $700 per year for something that you guys pay $1,200 per month for, and that's not even including the fucking deductible and copays and shit.
Look, you're not in my chat, so you haven't seen the next fun cold take, which would be, again, the last thing I entertain. But it says, yeah, but I value my money more than your healthcare. That's cool. Then die.
Okay. I hope you don't fucking have insurance, because that's you paying for other people's health care. Believe it or not, when you pay your insurance premiums, you are paying for other people's health care, and you are paying for the profit for the insurance company. So, like, you're already doing that. Socializing it makes it cheaper for you, you fucktard! Sorry, that's not... I don't...
Nah, it's a perfectly reasonable thing to call them. They earned it.
No. I don't like things that end with the tard thing. That's ableist. That...
We can go with fuckwit.
Yeah, fuckwit. Let's go with fuckwit. I apologize for that, because, like, that... I don't know. I was angry. I apologize. And I'm a little bit drunk.
That's understandable. I am of the opinion that I care about other people's lives and well-being up until the point where they communicate with me that they don't care about other people's lives and well-being. So for me, all they did was categorize themselves as a person that I don't care if they live anymore, because they don't care if other people live.
John says, ask him if he's saving enough tax money to buy himself a coffin. Anyway, yeah, the whole point of this article is that the right wing is still pushing anti-abortion shit, even though they've already got their anti-abortion shit passed. Like, they're the dog that caught the car at this point. Hopefully that'll help them lose some elections.
They caught the thing they've been fighting for all along.
Yeah, okay. So let's move on to the next article.
Membership in NATO obligates the members to defend any other member that's attacked. So let's say Montenegro, which joined last year, is attacked. Right. Why should my son go to Montenegro to defend it from attack? Why is that? I understand
what you're saying. I've asked the same question.
Yeah, so Trump has... Fuck Trump. Whatever. Congress has approved legislation that would prevent any president from withdrawing the United States from NATO without approval from the Senate or an act of Congress. And this was a bipartisan bill that was spearheaded by Democrat Senator Tim Kaine and Marco fucking Rubio, who is a piece of shit, for the record. So this is... Like, we don't need to spend a lot of time on this, but basically, the Republican Party is preparing for a Trump presidency by blocking Trump from doing things, preemptively. Like, I don't want, like that clip was him interviewing with Tucker Carlson, being like, yeah, no, I don't see the point in NATO. I don't want to send Americans to die in defense of countries that aren't America.
But if we get attacked as well, then we get defended. That's the point of NATO.
Yeah. That is the whole point of NATO. But, because Trump is in Putin's pocket, Putin doesn't like NATO. Like, Putin is the reason that NATO fucking exists, to protect people from Putin. But Trump is in Putin's pocket. So he's like, no, I don't like NATO. NATO is not good. We don't want to send Americans to die for other people. And this is where I was getting at earlier with the whole Trump is the Neville Chamberlain. The guy that, like, when I was a hardcore right-wing nut job, we derided Neville Chamberlain for like being weak. Like, no, how dare you not stand up to Hitler in the early days? It was clear what Hitler was doing, and you were appeasing him. Well, you know what? It's clear what fucking Putin is doing, and Trump is trying to appease him. He's the Neville Chamberlain. And then he's like, oh, Joe Biden's starting all the wars. It's like, no, Joe Biden's actually standing up to Putin instead of just giving him what he fucking wants.
You know, it's weird. So in the United States, we fetishize the military, right? We fetishize the military to a point where it is normal practice for the United States military to fund propaganda pieces that are done by Hollywood. Like, this is a normal, understood thing that happens in America. If you were wondering why there was so much like military fetishization in the Transformers movies, that's because they were funded by the U.S. military. So it's funny to me, living in this country and knowing which types of people glorify the military the most, how they're also the ones who would immediately go, at least in Trump's case, no, we don't want to use the stick we've been sharpening for tens of decades. No, bad. Never, ever. Then again, I guess I couldn't expect anything else from Admiral Bonespurs.
Yeah. Yeah, my main point with this one was basically like the Republican Party, who is gearing up to support Trump for his fucking presidential run, is, well, simultaneously, while they are supporting him, they are passing legislation specifically to inhibit him. Because he has come out and been like, I don't see the point in NATO. I don't like NATO. I don't want to do anything with NATO. Oh, the other NATO countries aren't paying as much as the United States, so we shouldn't support them. He's doing exactly what Putin wants, and so now they're like, maybe we should stop him from being able to withdraw from NATO unilaterally.
Maybe it would be a good idea as a just in case, especially because, like, they're preparing
the separation of powers that is supposed to be inherent to the different branches of the United States government. They're like trying to build that up in advance of maybe Trump will win again. So let's all just fucking go out and vote not Trump. When I say let's all go, like, I can't vote because I'm not American. So like, just vote for fucking Biden. I know he fucking sucks. Like, yeah, we don't like Biden. He's milquetoast as fuck. He's way more progressive than we thought he would be originally. But if you want
to talk about weakness in a president personified,
he still fucking sucks. He still fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I know the lesser of two evil is a fucking stupid. And this is the thing that I struggle with, because like V LaBianca, you know V?
Yes.
So they are very much of the I'm not going to vote for Biden just because he's the lesser of two evils thing. Like, they are very much, I will vote for the most progressive candidate ever, no matter what.
Okay.
But also, like, they posted on Twitter about how, like, they recently moved from Texas to Washington. And then on their LinkedIn, the people that were viewing their profile the most worked for the Texas Attorney General's office. So, like, that's fucking terrifying. So you need to vote for not Trump, because if Trump gets in, then the fucking Texas Attorney General might be able to be like, hey, you got a hysterectomy in Washington. You're going to jail now.
Yeah.
So like,
and
I get why you wouldn't want to vote for Biden. I fucking get that. I understand. Biden is milquetoast as fuck. But like, a little, like, you're not going to, like, with the general population, you are not going to get massive progress in any single election. So the way you get progress is by voting as progressive as you can in the primaries, and then just sucking it up and voting for whatever the Democratic candidate is in the final. Because the reason Biden is more progressive than we thought he was going to be is because he saw how many votes that Bernie got in the primaries. And he's like, oh, I better appeal to these people.
And he wants to keep that pie.
I better appeal to that segment of the population. So I need to be more progressive than I thought I had to be.
It's kind of frustrating, the amount of people who have that particular opinion, because I've stated before, I have a vehement dislike of that particular opinion. I'm not going to vote for the lesser of two evils when it comes time for the general election. I don't like it because it's an opinion that puts ideals over reality. And I know it feels infantilizing when I word it that way to some people, but The truth of the matter is,
And like, I fucking love V. V is amazing. But I strongly disagree with them on this point.
there's a lot of friends of mine who I value their opinions on a lot of things. But if I disagree with them on something, it's also perfectly reasonable. Especially if it's something that, I don't know, could potentially lead to my partner not being able to get her estrogen.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, my partner's body
And like,
cannot
like I
produce
said,
hormones.
V is
so
being-
it's actually a survival thing.
V is being actively like creeped on by the Texas Attorney General's office
Yeah?
because they've been public about their hysterectomy. Like, do we, like, I understand that Joe Biden doesn't do enough for them, but that doesn't mean I want them to be prosecuted for having health care.
The argument that I generally find is when people go, I don't vote for the lesser of two evils in the general election because it sends a message to the Democrats. Yeah, and then we get 4 years of people dying.
No, that's why I say you vote as progressive. You
Like-
vote as progressive as possible in the primaries, and then you just suck it up and vote for the milquetoast moderate Democratic candidate. And then they will see how many votes that the progressive candidates got in the primaries and be like, oh, I need to be more progressive.
And if you get
Like,
enough people
that
voting
is
for the
how you
progressive-
send the fucking message.
And if you get enough people voting for the progressive in the primaries where you were supposed to do in the first place, then you get the progressive on the ballot instead. There you go. Motivate, get people to vote in the primaries. There's too many people in the United States that do not vote in their general election and do not vote in the primaries. Or they only vote in the general election. They don't vote in local elections, and they don't vote in the primaries.
Yeah, and why the fuck does Iowa get the first caucus thing? Like, why is that even a thing? Fuck Iowa. I know there's like 3 of you that live in Iowa. Thank you for the potatoes, but fuck off. You're not
You're
that
thinking
important.
Idaho.
No, the Iowa caucus isn't it Iowa that gets the first caucus?
No, potatoes. Idaho is potatoes.
What does Iowa do then?
Corn.
Oh, so they're the reason that Doritos exist.
Sure.
Thanks for the Doritos, Iowa. Now vote for the progressives.
Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.